What if I had told you that only 7 days prior, I was scarcely able to get out of my seat, to the kitchen without experiencing any discomfort, was trailing 2 chunks of concrete? What if I told you that my legs were really bloated, exhausted, and feeble, that each and every my knees felt like they had aged by years with each stride? Moreover, what if I disclosed that today? My legs feel totally different now, and I didn't see any medical professionals, didn't take any medication, and didn't go through any costly procedures. You're most likely saying, this sounds too good to be accurate. I am aware that skepticism, since I experienced the same thing. However, this is what I found out. Something so easy to use that most likely you have it sitting already, ignored in a pantry or drawer. Huh? Currently, it's not a miraculous remedy or marketing ploy, and it's most definitely not. It's an oil, some fresh and innovative medication. Yes, it was merely some oil that changed my connection with my own body in ways that before you scroll, you never would have imagined, believing that this is just another pointless promise. Allow me to be completely explicit regarding what you will miss if you fail to take note of what I'm going to discuss. Each day you put off doing anything is just another day of needless misery. Another day without skipping stairs, strolls, and feeling cut off from your own body. Independence gradually disappears while you tell yourself that this is simply typical aging, but it need not be in this manner. The remedy I'm going to offer, revelation, has been concealed in plain view, supported for decades by both ancient knowledge and contemporary science, and if you give only 7 days of your week, with this easy exercise, you could undergo the same change that thousands of others have already realized. Appearing good isn't the goal. After 60, it's about something for others. The freedom to travel is significantly more valuable. Without discomfort, the self-assurance to walk without worrying about falling, and the delight of being genuinely alive in your own flesh once more. It's about taking back that you believe that the lightness was gone forever, and rediscovering the meaning of emotion. Chapter 2, safe on your own 2 feet. Why are your legs failing you? And it's you're not to blame. When we reach 60, our legs start talking to us in a language that we had no desire to discover, that occasionally they whisper via mild discomfort and sporadic stiffness. Sometimes they yell through excruciating spasms that startle us out of our reverie of the night, and occasionally they just remain silent and refuse to answer in the manner they used to make us feel as though in our own bodies. Strangers, you might find yourself stopping in the middle of the steps, not because you're breathing heavily, but because it feels like your legs are bringing sandbags. You may observe that a stroll about the neighborhood, which was once easy, now needs meticulous preparation. And deliberate rest halts these modifications. Don't occur instantly, yet they build up so slowly that by the time we observe them, they have already started. To the harsh irony that reshapes our entire existence is that there are alternatives to this decline. It may be avoided, but to comprehend how, in order to undo it, we must first comprehend the specifics of what is being placed within our bodies, and the reasons behind traditional methods frequently fail to meet the. Nobody discusses the circulation crisis. The primary offender is something that most people never think about: the gradual our circulatory system. As our blood vessels deteriorate with age, elasticity becomes less flexible and moored, making it less effective at circulating blood throughout our bodies. This is especially troublesome for our legs due to the fact that they are the things that are farthest distant from our hearts, battling gravity to get blood back, returning to our essential organs. When the circulation slows down, the tissues in our legs don't get enough oxygen and nutrition, which results in a series of issues that cause muscles to weaken and skin to become weaker and less elastic, and we encounter that well-known feeling of weight and exhaustion, similar to attempting to water a garden with a kinked hose. Simply put, how much water is available cannot usually get to where it's required. Fluid retention's hidden epidemic. Fluid retention is the second element, which impacts almost everyone over 60, but our bodies are rarely openly discussed, becoming less effective at getting rid of surplus water, especially in the lower. This explains why your ankles may swell by night, which is why your calves feel constricted and uneasy, and why sometimes your shoes seem smaller ultimately compared to what they did in the morning. This goes beyond appearances. When tissues are functional, they are swollen by too much fluid. They become into moving heavy things becomes more challenging. and the general feeling of exhaustion rises so sharply that it's like trying to move through water rather than air, needing a significantly higher amount of energy for the riddle of muscle mass at every step. Possibly the most pernicious alteration is the progressive reduction of muscular mass that starts around age 30, and it picks up speed beyond age 60. This condition is known as sarcopenia, so gradually that we don't often recognize it until it has a big influence on our day-to-day existence. What used to be solid muscle progressively is replaced by less functioning tissue that makes us less strong and less steady. In the absence of powerful leg muscles, everything gets harder. To get out of a chair, you need more effort to keep balance. It turns into wandering in danger for long periods of time gets tiresome, but it's not that we're growing lethargic, which is the exact our mobility's cornerstone is silently undermining our cellular aging and the cellular level of the inflammatory factor level. Our body is participating in an ongoing struggle against inflammation, and as we age, oxidative stress becomes a battle. Gets harder to win cells, regenerate more slowly and recuperate less efficiently from stress and develop into more prone to persistent inflammation. This impacts all of the tissues of our legs, from the tiniest to the biggest capillaries. Chronic inflammation in muscle groups is more troublesome because it produces an inflammatory tissue. Do poorly, which results in more stress and an increase in inflammation. This period calls for focused intervention, something that deals with inflammation at its origin, while encouraging the body's inherent ability to repair. Procedures. Chapter 3. The ancient secret that contemporary science has finally demonstrated. Allow me to present Mary, a 73-year-old woman whose tale is similar to thousands of other people have found. Mary had always used this natural remedy, been busy walking her dog and gardening, having fun with her grandchildren, but her legs gradually started to turn against her. Standing for extended lengths of time turned into uncomfortable, enigmatic swelling emerged unexpectedly. The majority most annoying of all, she started to wake up, many times every night, with excruciating spasms that made it difficult for her to move her home in the dark. In need of relief, Mary made every effort to what the traditional world had to offer. She purchased a costly compression stockings, tried out a number of creams available over the counter, and even regarded as prescribed drugs with their extensive listings of possible sides. Some impacts offered short-term respite. However, nothing tackled the underlying source of her issues, which she was starting to acknowledge. This drop was only the cost of growing older. When she discovered a solution so easy it nearly seemed impossible, that the solution wasn't concealed in either a pharmacy or doctor's office, occupying her own kitchen cabinet, while a tiny bottle that she had bought months earlier. Previously, when boiling rosemary oil, the science behind rosemary oil is amazing. Not only is rosemary oil a nice scenting culinary component, it's one of the strongest circulatory system in nature. The substances that were carefully removed through the distillation of leaves of rosemary and flowers. This amber fluid has a strong combination of substances that have been demonstrated by science to address each of the main causes of leg. The secret to older adults' issues is its distinct chemical makeup. Rosemary oil has a high levels of rosmarinic acid, in an organic anti-inflammatory substance that has been demonstrated to decrease tissue inflammation more efficiently than many others. Additionally, it includes synthetic substitutes, strong antioxidants that shield cells, prevent harm, and encourage the body's natural healing process. Procedures, but maybe most significantly, compounds in rosemary oil include directly energizing peripheral circulation. Recent research carried out at universities in Europe have shown that using rosemary oil topically can improve the flow of blood to the extremities by as much as 40% in only application minutes. This isn't merely in theory, it is quantifiable and observable. Moreover, it's something that you may sense both modern and ancient wisdom. Verification of the application of rosemary for legs. The concept of care is not new, for Mediterranean cultures have been around for ages. Depended on this amazing plant for shepherds with sore, exhausted legs being treated would use rosemary to rub their legs. Oil following arduous fieldwork days. Farmers were aware that this straightforward custom could stop the cramps and swelling that resulted from hours of hard work. In classical Greece, rosemary was regarded as extremely beneficial for mental and physical health. Pupils would incorporate it into their hair while assessments. The Romans employed it in their Arab baths to revitalize aching muscles. Doctors recommended it for distribution. Issues and joint discomfort are what these ancient healers had an instinctive understanding of. Contemporary science has now demonstrated definitively, in seminal research released in the Natural Therapy Journal, 200 adults over 65 were observed who experienced soreness in their legs. Half of the edema and decreased mobility were given a placebo, whereas the other half used rosemary oil. A little massage twice a day for a week. The rosemary produced amazing benefits. Organization demonstrated notable advancements in mobility, pain levels, and general quality of life. However, the group given a placebo displayed no significant alterations. Why does your body recognize this answer right away? Why rosemary oil works so well is more than just its molecular makeup. It's how well adapted it is for humans when applied to the skin. Physiology swiftly and deeply enters, carrying its active ingredients straight to the tissues most in need of them, as opposed to artificial substances that the body might identify as alien. Rosemary oil includes substances that are present in our cells. Been communicating with for countless years, the oil functions on several levels. At the same time, it promotes circulation that provides new oxygen and nutrients to regions that are deprived. It decreases inflammation, ending the pain cycle, reducing swelling. It offers profound hydration, enhancing the look and suppleness of the skin. Perhaps most astonishingly, it appears to awaken cellular functions that had been asleep. Promoting self-healing in Chapter 4 on Regeneration Transformation Protocol for your 7-day. The most important step on the path to liberation is now essential component of the entire trip. Figuring out how to use the power of properly using rosemary oil isn't about sloppily smearing oil over your legs, expecting for miracles, and genuinely changes people's lives. The development of a holy daily routine, a moment when you get back in touch with your body and show it the attention it merits and actively take part in your own recovery. Preparation, laying the groundwork for the best time for your leg to succeed. The care routine begins right after you're taking a bath or shower in the evening. Has profound. You have good timing and your skin is clean. Your pores are open and it's heated. Your muscles are already responsive, starting to cool off in the heat of your body is in its ideal state when you drink water. To accept and take in the healing characteristics of the oil if taking a bath isn't. Make sure your legs are as clean as possible. Thoroughly dry before starting to take. Warm up your bottle of rosemary oil softly in your hands or set it down. Cold oil is located close to a source of mild heat, unexpected for the system, and doesn't penetrate this minor task as successfully as possible. Your first action is to preheat the oil, signaling to your body through self-care that something noteworthy is going to occur. Holy application procedure. 5 or 6 drops of the heated oil should be added to your. There is more than enough rosemary in this palm. Oil is extremely concentrated and somewhat goes a long way. Rub your palms together, gradually, letting the oil warm up between them. More, and your hands will get covered. Take a moment to experience its healing essence. To breathe in the scent. This isn't simply soothing or healing, and the aroma of it has been scientifically demonstrated that rosemary stimulates certain brain regions connected to well-being and alertness. Start with slow circular motions at your ankles. Movements that are continuously upward. This directional flow is directed towards your heart. Is important because it adheres to the natural venous and the lymphatic drainage pathway. Return to bolster your body systems of healing instead of functioning. Use hard, yet mild pressure against them. Pressure as though you're assisting in directing return of sluggish fluids to your core. Work your way up gradually to your calves, lingering longer on the muscles in the stomach near the rear of your legs. These muscles frequently support enormous stress and react exquisitely to prolonged focus. Don't rush this. Every stroke in the process should be intentional. An attentive dialogue between the technique of mindfulness with your hands and your legs. As you get to your thighs, feel them expand. Your massage to incorporate lengthy broad strokes that appear to many folks are embracing their entire leg. Shocked by the level of tension they've held in their thighs without being aware of it, this region frequently reacts significantly to the combination of throughout. Use rosemary oil and a gentle touch. This procedure keeps the rhythmic depth. Your breath is not distinct from your breathing. It's an essential component of this treatment. Imagine a portion of it with every breath, attracting healing energy with every exhale to relieve stress, pain, and stress accumulation. Isn't only massage is a form of moving meditation practice that promotes physical and spiritual well-being. Regularity are the cornerstones to change throughout the first 7 days. Adhere to this practice twice a day. In the morning to give your legs more energy for the upcoming day, and once at night to relieve the tension that has built up. An application in the morning helps with weariness. enhance blood flow and lessen rigidity, but the evening application encourages calmness and improved sleep following the first week. You can modify the frequency according to how your body reacts and your individual tastes. Some people discover that once a day is adequate for upkeep, but others decide to keep going twice a day because they have learned to cherish these times of self-care. Increasing the impact to optimize the advantages of your rosemary. Take into account these extra factors while treating oil. Techniques that improve your massage your legs when you're lying down and positioning cushions beneath your feet, so this location is higher than your heart. Improves venous return and can greatly intensify the emotions of comfort and lightness. If you're feeling very exhausted or heavy, you can cover the oil with a warm, moist towel for 10 to 15 minutes. The mix of rosemary oil combined with wet heat produces a strongly ingrained therapy that can offer wonderful respite from underlying stress and discomfort. Most above all, consider this moment to be precious. Put your phone aside and move away from distractions and allow yourself authorization to concentrate solely on this act of self-care. Is not self-centered. Rather, it's vital. You're not only taking care of your legs, you're taking back your entitlement to Chapter 5. Feel comfortable about your own physique. What to anticipate each day. Your period of transformation. One of the most I frequently get inquiries like how soon can I expect results? The response is both basic and intricate, and each time, the body reacts differently. Are recurring trends that usually folks go through when they decide to this 7-day transformation protocol. Knowing what to anticipate can be beneficial. You remain inspired and acknowledge the minor but important adjustments that start practically right away on the first day of waking up. Your initial application is probably a discovery in and of itself for many. People express surprise at how it's nice to pay attention at last. The scent of rosemary oil on their legs is instantly cheerful and invigorating, producing a feeling-based sensory experience. You may be both opulent and healing. Not observe any significant bodily changes on day 1, but something crucial is actually taking place. You're violating the pattern of disregard and starting to restore a compassionate friendship with. Don't undervalue your body. Psychological effects of this initial day. Following months or years of looking at your legs as a cause of annoyance or restriction, you're treating them all of a sudden appropriate consideration and deference. This change in mentality is frequently the initial step towards day 2 of the body's physical transformation. It starts reacting on the second day when your legs are starting to believe this consistent attention is not merely a one-time occurrence. That many people observe their swelling at the end of the day is a little decreased, or they get better sleep. Thus, their legs are more at ease, and these adjustments may be more comfortable. They are modest but important. Signs that your blood flow is already starting to make your skin better. Might also begin to feel different, more flexible or softer than it has in months. As a result of rosemary oil offers intense hydration while promoting the processes of cellular renewal that have lain inactive.